So this is my dad's McCulloch. This is probably the first chainsaw that I can remember. The funny story about it is that it's probably the not the most spectacular story, but it's kind of like a significant point in history for me. Is that my dad was working for a logging company locally in Central Oregon, and I can't remember the name of the guy that owned it, but it was named by a guy. And my dad was given the saw as a gift from his father-in-law. But what's funny is his father-in-law was not my grandpa. It was actually his first wife's father, his first wife. And so my dad was married once before, and he did not have any children with her. And so I'm my dad's only child. And so this saw is kind of like a significant point from the world where, you know, it could have been without Trevor. And so I just kind of get a kick out of it because my dad's ex-father-in-law, who's passed away now, but he would come and visit my dad when, you know, I was a little boy, because I guess he was just fond of my dad. And so they stayed in touch, and he drove a yellow Mustang, which is what I thought I got a kick out of. He drove this, you know, fairly new, you know, 90s looking yellow Mustang. And, you know, and I was in my probably early teens, or not teens yet. And it was just this guy, I never knew who he was, but he'd come and visit my dad and talk, and my dad would just call him by his name. And then finally, a few years later down the world, where I'm now, you know, considered a young man, my dad tells me about where this saw came from and the guy with the yellow Mustang. And so that's kind of the story behind the saw. It's kind of like the saw that was before Trevor was. And, you know, if the world worked differently, this saw might be the only thing that was around before me. And I don't know. I just think it's funny. So yeah, this is my dad's McCulloch. So if you guys are interested in the other saws, check down in the description box below for the Husqvarna and Jonsered and hear the stories behind them.